Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, I wanted to dive a little bit deeper today into Anthony Walker Jr., veteran linebacker just signed recently by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is about to be 30 years old this upcoming season, and I just wanted to dive deeper in him today because whenever I had initially talked about the signing, I really focused in on that 2024. And I want to go a little bit deeper today because there was an interesting point made by my colleague, Mr. Evan Wanish, over on the Cannon Fire podcast, kind of dialing in more on that 2023 and how that was a good year for Walker Jr. and how the Bucs would like him to get back to that 2023 season rather than that 2024. So I very much focused on the 2024 season of Walker Jr. And look, in some ways, he had a better year than KJ Britt. In other ways, he didn't. He played in 14 games, started 8 games for the Miami Dolphins this past season. Walker Jr., that is, had 68 total tackles, 1 sack, had 2 passes deflected, had an interception in there as well. You take a look at the season that KJ Britt had. Hold on just a moment. Let me go ahead and see if I can pull it up. KJ Britt played in 14 games, started 11, had 72 tackles, a half sack, 1 pass deflected. He had 2 tackles for loss and 1 quarterback hit. Anthony Walker Jr. had no tackles for loss and no quarterback hits. Whenever you take a look at the Pro Football Focus numbers, overall grade of 48.0 in 2024 for Walker. You also take a look at KJ Britt, an overall grade of 45.2, advantage Walker Jr. in that point. Pass rush grade 44.2 for Walker. Britt had a 57.9, advantage Britt there. Run defense 57.3, Walker 69.5, big advantage there to Walker. Finally, coverage 39.1 for Walker, 41.1 for Britt. Slight advantage over KJ Britt, right? So in some ways, Anthony Walker is a slight upgrade, I think, overall from the 2024 season of KJ Britt. But let's go ahead and dive into that previous year, 2023. Now, for KJ Britt, he played in 16 games, started 4. Anthony Walker played in 12 games, started 12 games. KJ Britt had 29 total tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass deflection. Anthony Walker Jr. had 44 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 2 quarterback hits, 2 fumbles recovered, 4 passes deflected, and 1 forced fumble. Let's take a look at the Pro Football Focus ratings. KJ Britt, and it is a smaller sample size, keep in mind, but an overall grade of 79.3. Anthony Walker, 71.1. Pass rush, 63.4 for KJ Britt, 54.9 for Walker. 59-point run defense grade, 71.0 for KJ Britt, and then 77.0 coverage grade for Britt, 76.8 for Walker. Even going back to like 2022, of course, Walker only played and started in 3 games that year. Even going back to like 2021, he did some good work in there as well with the Cleveland Browns. So my point making is this, and also look at this. I mean, Britt was really bad in 2022. Really rough in 2021, where you take a look at the overall stats of Britt. I mean, 2024, not his best year in the world, but 2023, he was a starting caliber linebacker. 2022, really starting caliber linebacker, admittedly, though, in very limited capacity. 2021, played in 13 games, started 12, still put up an overall grade of 69.1. That's starting caliber linebacker play there. What about 2020? He took a really big dip in 2020. He played and started in 16 games for the Indianapolis Colts. Not great. Finally, just to round it out, 2019, did better overall. And then finally in 2018, was average, I think. So really, I'm curious to see what the Bucs are going to get in Walker Jr., okay? Because look, 2023, very good year. 2024, not so much. So Walker has been very hot and cold in his time in the NFL. It is notable that he has been a starting linebacker for multiple teams in his career so far up to this point. He started 48 games for the Colts. He started 27 games for the Browns, and he started 8 games for the Dolphins in 1 year alone. So that's 3 separate teams signing him, saying, hey, we view you at least as a fringe starter for us. In his time with the Colts, he was a full-time starter for multiple seasons there. So this is a guy that I think you could consider a option to battle SirVocea Dennis for a starting job. And we don't know what the Buccaneers are going to continue to do in that linebacking room. They could draft somebody. I think they should. They could possibly add another veteran free agent. I honestly still think they possibly could and maybe should. You've also got Deion Jones on there, who maybe he might be in a mix for a starting job. I don't know, man. But like, Anthony Walker Jr. has been very hot and cold throughout his career. He's had some years where it looks like, yeah, this guy is a very reliable starter. He's had other years where it's like, yeah, this guy could be pretty replaceable, right? One thing I will notice is that he's had better years at coverage, more so than run defense. I mean, you look every single year besides 2024, his coverage grade's better than his run stopping grade. And that seems like something the Buccaneers want, is a guy who is a bit more of a coverage type of linebacker. I actually want to see the advanced stats. So when targeted this past year, he did allow a passer rating of 94.4, which was not great, but comparatively, it is the second best season of his career in terms of pass coverage, a 72.5 completion percentage when targeted. That's the third best of his career. So it does seem like the Buccaneers were looking for a guy who is a bit more of a coverage guy rather than a run-stopping type of player, and they might have found that in Anthony Walker Jr. I'm not going to be as quick to write him off going forward, and I'm going to be interested to see. He's also a former Florida guy, went to school in Miami, went to high school in Florida as well, so it's an interesting player here that maybe could push Servassier Dennis for a starting spot somewhere down the line, but at the very least, you know that, hey, if there are injuries, knock on wood for that, or if he does need to step in, it's a role that he is very familiar with and very comfortable with, as he has been a starter for multiple years in this league on multiple different teams, which in my opinion does say a lot to his overall ability. But what do you guys think about Anthony Walker Jr.? Let me know your thoughts and opinions about it down in the comments section below. I'd love to hear it. Do you view him as a starter? Do you view him more as a backup? Let me know your guys' thoughts. I'd love to hear it. Guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. As always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.